So here we are. It's after austere August, and so I'm back to shaving with whatever I want. But I'm going to keep shaving with this Nacet. 33 shaves it's got on it. Let's put another one on there. Still going strong as of last shave. I'm going to go ahead and put my brush in the Declaration Grooming. I haven't actually used it yet. I did do a test lather the other day. Haven't used it to shave. It'll probably drop some hairs, and that's normal. I like to soak my brushes, even the Badgers, just for a little bit, but that's optional. Some people just kind of get them, make sure they're wet all the way through. All right, so while that's soaking for just a couple minutes, I've got a West Coast shaving handle. I thought this design worked pretty well. Originally, I bought it for my Wolfman Gorilla because it's kind of a, it's not a classical look, and it's kind of a more modern look, and so I got this. And then I recently managed to get a hold of a Wolfman WR1, and which is a really fine razor for a lot of guys. And this is my first time trying it. And this is the polished head, and then it says, you know, WR1 right there, and then there's the Wolfman logo. Pretty thin profile head, so I wanted a more simplistic, less ornate handle to kind of match it. And then we will put inside that the Nacet that we've used 33 times. I'm going to be careful not to touch the edges. I don't want to dull those. This might be a blade that takes me to 100 uses. Who knows? All right, so this guy, here's the top cap there, and then Nacet will just sit in there, and these the rails there looks like they're going to keep the blade in perfect alignment. Here's the top of the top cap. Hey, there I am. I imagine it'll fit everything so tightly that there'll be no need for any kind of adjustment. Yep, nice and secure. This is the 0.67 head, and of course you can see that the bar here is the solid bar, so it's not the open comb that might look like teeth, you know. So solid bar, polished, and it's 0.67 is the gap, and that was what was available. These are very rare razors, hard to get right now. But I think it was just a great blessing, because I think that gap might be right around what I'd be looking for anyway. Anything bigger than that is more aggressive, less than that is more mild. Also be used in this shave bowl. It's got handle, grooves, and then it's got an interior lip that kind of throws the lather back in the bowl. All right, and inside here is the soap that I meant to shave with in August, the austere August. Awesome sandalwood scent, Santal Santal Absolut by Fine Accoutrements. And it's a hard soap, lasts a very long time, and I really enjoy this scent. Just one of my favorites. But I was away from home when August started. It kind of caught me by surprise, and so I didn't have my little mug with me. But so it's going to get the action on the first day. I have some freedom to choose. All right, the brush is ready. This is one that I've had great success with blooming it, putting some soap in ahead of time. But I just did a test on Williams, and I could hot water bloom Williams, and I could only lather about 10 seconds, and that would be really good for a face lather, and that would sometimes last all 3 passes, but definitely 2 passes. And then I was able to say, okay, let's ditch the hot water. What about coming at it without blooming, keeping it dry? And so I did a 60-second kind of wet load, and that was pretty much the equivalent for that particular soap. So let's try that again today. We've got a wet brush, soaking wet brush. I pull it out of the water. It's if I turn it sideways, it comes out. let's do that much shade. This is a very dense brush though. The other one I was using was a boar. Okay, now let's just go ahead and go with it. Let's do why not? Let's just do a 60-second load, see what happens. I started at the 15 mark. A lot of the water is just kind of overflowing, coming out. Can I come over here closer to you? Yeah, there we go. Or maybe I'll stop it. 45 seconds. Just because that's, I mean, this is, which would be in about 4 seconds now. And there we go. 45-second load. Lots of drippage, things like that. What a great smell. All right, then I'm going to take it right to the bowl. I let a few of the drips get into the bowl. Might have been wise to let even more do that. Let's just take it to the bowl and start working. Now, kind of like the Williams, it's very bubbly and airy. That's normal for Williams. You just keep mixing it. So this Declaration brush is one that I've had before, and Scott had to remake it for me because the knot was set a little too low and it was just much too stiff and backbony. And so this will be my first actual shave with it. I just couldn't resist. Yesterday, I think is when I got it in the mail. Couldn't resist and had to lather it up yesterday with some Cella. Really like the Cella. Now already this is starting to come together into a much more usable lather. I may have to add some water to it, which is fine. The shorter loft, it was about this is a 24 millimeter handle from Whipped Dog, which I really enjoy. Got big hands, so I like the length of this one. And it was like about a 43 millimeter loft on that other brush. And it was actually a lot harder to stir up a lather because it was more like you were using a, it wouldn't splay as much. You're more like using a stick or something like that. This is looking great. Oh, smells good. But this one, totally different story. Much bigger bloom, much easier to whip the soap together. I'm so glad I communicated with Scott. He's a great guy. Really focused on helping people to enjoy his products and all that. And he said, you know what, from your description, it sure sounds like I'd really like to see that brush, and it may be out of spec. And so I sent it in, sure enough. So then this is the one he sent me back. Lather looks terrific. It's got a little light sheen on it. Plenty of it. So the 45 seconds appears to be a good amount. Just going to see what happens if I kind of scrape it off the sides, and we'll just start with whatever's in the brush. And that way we can always get it from the bowl if we need it. Forgot to get my face wet before I built the lather, but I'm sure I'll be all right. Oh, my towel, my towel. All right, let's see what happens. Yesterday's trial, it was very soft. These hairs and this B5 knot are just really, the tips are just crazy soft. And get a little bit more of that lather from the bowl that maybe I took out too much. Man, the tips are so soft, I almost think you could lather a pile of gravel on your face and it would feel good. Oh yeah, that scent's coming up. Nice medium strength. Now, I look at the grooves right here, the furrows, they are a little bit splotchy, and so that probably means I need to add just a little bit of water. When I first started with this lather in the bowl, it was, so watery because it just hadn't mixed with the soap yet. I was really thinking that I had too much water. Okay, I put in about a quarter of a teaspoon, kind of drop by drop. Let's see if that is all I need or if I need to add more. Yeah, let's add some more. This time, let's just add it in the middle. See what happens there. Tilt my face to the side to make sure it comes down to the tips of the brush. Watch it get creamier and smoother and all that. This is my first time, I haven't used this soap in a while, so I didn't really have any good info down on how much water to use and all that. That's kind of why I usually, in the past, I would add water via the syringe to the lather instead of counting on how much is in the brush. Because you just never know. Looks like I have tons of soap in the brush that needs to be worked into a lather. So I clearly should have left more in my brush than I did. Let's do that painting here. Check the furrows. See, that's better. Less splotchy. We'll just stop there. So I ended up adding about a teaspoon to the brush. Oh, what a great scent. All right, first try with a Wolfman Real Live. And here, my hand is wet. This handle from West Coast Shaving is a little slippery, but these grooves I think really help. Let me try it out with a little bit of soap in my fingertips. If my hands are really soapy, that's actually kind of slippery. I feel like I can keep it from going down because obviously these ridges are there, but I don't think I could keep it from like slipping out sideways. I'd be concerned it would escape that way. So that's a pretty handle, but I think I may have to put it on a different head when it's not quite so rare, because I don't want to drop this. We'll start with kind of the standard. Oh my goodness, that felt good. Good glide. Very comfortable. Tiny bit of blade feel. But very smooth. A little bit of audio feedback, and I don't like a lot, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, look at that nice rich lather that's under the razor. Very nice. Well, for now, lately I've been really into smoother shaves, and it sure looks like I really like this. I think it's going to be silky smooth on the second and third passes. And now this is a great cut that I'm getting from a blade that it's in its currently now in its 34th use. How about that? That's a good lather. Looks great. Got sheen to it. I barely feel the ridges in my fingertips. That's just superb. Now I will rinse. This current gap on this thing, at least the first pass of it, kind of reminds me, and I'm going to put a little bit more water in my lather here. It reminds me of the UK Aristocrats. They are gorgeous pieces. They shave really well, and they ride a nice line between comfort and performance. You can feel them cutting, but they're just smooth and wonderful. And this reminds me of that. If I was really going for a super smooth shave, then maybe I wouldn't go for this gap. But this is less than like the Dart that I've been using the last month. It's less aggressive than that. I'd say it's right at about a 5 out of 10, which I think is a great middle ground to probably get a great close shave with good comfort. All right, y'all, look at that lather right there. Look at that. That's good. All right. All right, let's look at that nice long handle. Plenty of room to grab and not quite get my hands all messy. It does take a little effort to kind of get it to splay and stay splayed because it's just such a dense knot. It's so soft. I am looking forward and hoping that the knot will chill out a little bit and open up and get less, be easier to splay in the future. But I mean, it's a brand new knot, so you have to give it room to change because it will usually. And we have a hair. Not a problem. I mean, if I lost 90 hairs in the first 2 weeks of having a particular brush, I wouldn't worry about it. If I'd been using that brush for 4 months and it was still doing that, then I might worry. Very confidence-inspiring feel here. I don't feel at all like I'm going to get cut. but it does feel like it's doing a good job cutting. Very interested to see how this result is. I felt some that felt this nice, but they just weren't doing a good cutting job. So we'll see what happens with this guy. I'm going to rinse. So in comparison to the Williams, this is a much easier soap to lather. The creaminess is outstanding. Just really good. Much easier. It is a hard puck. I don't know if it's triple milled or not, but you know, I bet it'll last longer than Williams. It's, you know, usually like $12.50 or something like that for the puck, whereas a Williams puck is $1.50. But it's softer. It's not as hard. It's not as dense. So I don't think I'd be able to kill this puck in 2 months like I could with a Williams puck, and so therefore the value does start to stretch out. And boy, I don't even know if I got enough water on this thing still. Maybe that 45-second lather is not necessary at all with this soap. There we go. It's better. We'll just do a little bit more. A little bit of irritation over here. I wonder if I was a little careless and too speedy and gave myself a little bit too close of a trim. Wonderful slickness on my face after that rinse. Very, very nice. Oh, this smells so good. It's sandalwood. They've added something else, but to me it doesn't adulterate the sandalwood and mess it up like Taylor Holds Bond Street sandalwood and so many others. All right, third pass. Very smooth. Just trying to remember to use light pressure. Just enough to keep the razor on the skin. Yeah, this soap needed more water for sure. Probably even a 20-second load might be all I needed to do. And that's the problem with loading too much soap. Sometimes people say, load it like you hate it, and that can fix somebody's problems who is just totally not putting enough soap on their brush. But the problem with that is if you need to load for 20 seconds and you end up loading for 60, 45, then now you've got 2 or 3 times as much soap in your brush as you need, and it takes a lot more water to get that down to a good consistency. If it's too pasty, if it's too thick and soapy, you don't get the glide that you should because it's pasty and all that. Oh, the smell is just terrific, so good. That's why I chose this one for the August thing, but Amazon messed up my order and I didn't get it in time. So I'm going to pause you while I finish. So much residual slickness here. I'm going to kind of finish rinsing. I'm going to inspect and see how close I'm getting. That's an amazing cut. You know, I have always said that there are expensive razors and there are cheap razors. There are junk razors that are inexpensive and cheap and you should stay away from. A lot of the ones on eBay that are kind of no name. Step up from that is like the Mercurs and the Parkers. Mercurs don't really have a great finish on them. Parkers are a little better. Jaggers are a little better than that. Muley's a little better, but that Muley head is the same as the Jagger head. And so save money and just get a Jagger. Edwin Jagger. And then you start getting up into those vintage Gillettes were brass razors that were chrome plated or iridium plated or whatever at the time. And just wonderful, wonderful shavers and give you great shaves. And a lot of them can be had for $10 or $11, and people shave with those for their whole lives because they're just that well made, quality as well as the geometry of the blade and the head. It's just made to work. They stumbled on a good design, and guys have been using them for decades. Then you got some of the modern razors like Rockwell that are good, and the Christopher Bradley razor by Carve came out. Blackland has the Dart, you know, and there's other ones I'm kind of forgetting. You have the nicer ones, even more like AT and ATT, and those never really worked well with my face. But the charcoal goods, that head that I have on my level 2 just doesn't work too well for me either. Maybe I need to practice and get better at it. But the Blackbird from Blackland is very aggressive, and you've got the quality just kind of keeps going up. And then the Wolfman, because of its rarity and the fit and finish is amazing. It's kind of right up there at the top. And sure, there are razors that are $30. Some of the older vintage Gillettes that will give me the same shave. But I mean, actually, this is closer than usual than a lot of those razors usually are able to get. For me at least, I can't go against the grain. And when you can go against the grain, then a lot of things are open to you. A lot of razors will work just fine for you. When you can't here because of irritation, then you have to try to get the stuff that really matches your geometry of your skin and where the geometry addresses your skin issues properly. Well, this razor just happened to do it. I don't need to do a 4th neck only pass like usual, and it did it with a blade that had been used 33 times already. So that's pretty remarkable. Very smooth shave. But I did feel a little bit of let's see, how's this guy here? The Dart is a little better at this area. I feel maybe 80-85% baby butt smooth on my cheeks without going against the grain on those. So the Dart is a little better on that, but this was my first time using this razor. We'll keep on working with it, but this area here gotten really well. As you can see, I don't have any bleeders. I probably had some irritation right there. Let me see what kind of balm I've got to put on. I feel like inaugurating my new razor with an old classic, and of course it's got alcohol, so it's going to let me know how my shave went. Yep, a little stinging over here, down in here. Pretty big stings actually, but still short-lived. Oh yeah, look at that redness that just kind of popped up. Okay, that's right on a kind of my jawline. So I bet I just wasn't quite careful enough with my technique coming across that jawline, maybe too much pressure. Guarantee you that's probably what happened. Oh, that's a good scent. Yeah, and that Old Spice just rose that right up. In a little while I'll throw in some balm to help my skin heal from that. That was a good test. So I will, and that's great because, or at least something great about that is that if it can give me that kind of irritation, then that means it's also, you know, right on the cutting edge there where it is going to cut hairs well. You know, it's not mild enough, to miss those hairs, to get right in close, and so I do have to respect it and be careful with it. But in general, it felt great. No irritation anywhere else. I just kind of missed a spot right there with my attention, you know. All right, great shave, just smooth, and this is one of those razor heads that really clamps on to the edge of the blade, right up close to the edge, and so you get a great firm feeling, and a consistency, a solidity that, you know, is more toward something like a straight razor, something like that. Within the double-edged spectrum, you've got some that chatter a lot and very flexible because they're not holding the blade closely to the edge of it. Then you got this side, very firm, great feeling for people who like that. All right, I'm gonna clean up. Oh, and I did have tons of lather left, so I'm glad I chose to only load for 45 seconds instead of 60. That was a very good shave. Nice lather. I did learn that I can use a lot less soap. Then I won't have to use as much water to compensate for it. Keep it from being pasty and stuff. And you can see it's just been several minutes. Just threw on some balm. I use that Cella Dopo Barba balm. I really like the scent when I got it, and I think I've used it 20 times over the past several months, and it almost smells like it's going rancid. I wonder if its ingredients are kind of, you know, preservative free, kind of expecting you to use it in a regular manner. And I've got, I don't know, 20, 30 balms and post-shave products that I kind of switch out in. So I might be discovering which ones aren't going to last here in a while. But it calmed. That is a big patch of red, and it's reduced by about half by now. I don't feel it. So a comfortable shave. Now with that Wolfman head, the great thing is once you have one, a lot of times guys will trade with you. If I discover this 6.7 is a little too aggressive for me, I don't think so. I'm definitely going to use it for a while and see. But sometimes I just want a smooth shave, and I don't even care if it's super close. And I just want a slick shave that's just super comfortable. And I believe I would need a smaller gap with this particular head because this one is right in the mid-range instead of being on the mild side. But I'm definitely going to shave with it some more, and I mean it may come to be one of my favorites because it as long as I use it carefully and don't repeat this performance here, then you know, it might just be a very enjoyable razor. All right, I'm done cleaning up. So I hope there was something here for you. That Santal Absolut from Fine Accoutrements is a great little puck. It's a hard puck, and so you can shave it or shred it with a cheese grater if you need to fit it into a container that, you know, it's kind of an odd size. But for my Old Spice mug, a vintage one, it just slipped right down in there perfectly. So there we go. And the everything else was great. The brush was tremendous. We'll see how that ages. Maybe it relaxes a little bit, and then I think I'll just phenomenally enjoy it in that case. A little firm, a little dense for me right now, but that might land up to be perfect after I put a good many uses into it. It might just land in a very good spot. There we go. That's enough. You take care and have a good night.